before the war started. So I'm going to ask him some questions, and if you all have questions, you feel free to ask him some questions too, and we'll find out what happened to him during the war. Dad, can you tell us a little bit about life before the war? What was it like? Did you finish school? What did you do?
Life before the war was I went to school, Hebrew Cheder, and then I had a special teacher for other teaching, Polish and in arithmetic mostly. He taught me around, after 4 o'clock came from the Cheder, and he taught me till about 2 hours, every second day, every day. So we had partial Cheder and partial this, so that way we managed everything. In the home, I was living in a little shtetl, it was a bigger city, Sosnovitz, was about 120,000 people. We had a store from butter, eggs, not milk, butter, eggs, and the groceries, we sold it. And we made a decent living because in Poland it was very, very hard. My mother worked hard. I was a family for 4 brothers and 1 sister. This was before the war, 1938, when the war, 1939, when the war broke out.
How old were you when the war broke out?
24, 25.
So you lived at home with your parents up
Always,
until that
right.
time?
Was less. Yeah, I lived home. We had a nice living. And we also, I wouldn't say prosperous, because no one in Poland was prosperous, but if you had enough food and enough to pay the bills, stay above water, then you were prosperous over there. In 1939, when the war broke out, I was in Sosnovitz. We lived in the same house as the Radomski Rebbe, who was one of the biggest rabbis. And the Germans came in of the start, overrunning the city. We hid it in the basement. I remember like now, we had crates of eggs. Behind the eggs I was hiding. And then afterwards they came in overnight. They start shooting left and right. We didn't know what to do and where to go.
This was in your apartment building?
No, in the whole city around. I was in our apartment building.
You lived in an
basement.
apartment building?
Yes. It was about 40 tenants, I would say.
Oh, so it was a big apartment?
Big apartment complex. Much of it 22. The number was over there.
And what was the name of this city? Sosnovitz was your name, the name of your city?
Sosnovitz. Then after 2 days, we got a proclamation. Everyone got to go out of the town to concentrate ourselves to shame a project that was over there, was affected over there, and we had to go over there. Over there was unbelievable what we all stood in lines for hours and hours and overnight. People were fainting, they fell down, they took them right away out. So we had very, very rough right in the beginning. They were shooting our neighbors, they were running in this street, but they were shooting all around. We had no choice, so we got to be quiet and we got to see what's going to develop for this.
Was your whole family together at this time?
Yeah, at this time. No, we were together. But soon they stopped, they occupied. In the second day, they said, right, so my brother and my sister and my brother-in-law ran away. They went to Lvov, Lemberg.
Which brother?
Eiler, Edward. They went. But then they separated themselves. So my sister Helen and Izek and my brother-in-law went.
That's right.
Yes, I cannot help you. Went to Kovel, Poland, Kovel.
Was that far?
Yeah, I would say it's about 300 kilometers.
So how did they get there?
They went to Lvov, to Lemberg. For Lemberg, they got over there, was buses going around. People are running to Russia. They were running any place they could where just to find a safe place where to stay there. And then we were separated, and that's it. We stood over there. After a week, 2 weeks, they start taking people to work. Dirty work, whatever they have it, I have to go, we all have to go. But suddenly, after a month or 2 months, I saw what's going on, and I hid myself because the Jewish community over there, they created a special group police for work, forced labor. So I went to forced labor. One time I didn't want to go to forced labor, so I hid myself, and I thought maybe I'm going to run away. So now, one day I didn't came, right, the Jewish police came, they took my mommy as hostage. If I come back, they let out my mommy.
Who were these Jewish police? Were these people who lived in your village?
In the city.
So why would they do that?
Because the German didn't want to do the dirty work.
So they made the Jews do that?
Yes, the Jews do. It's special purpose of this. Otherwise they couldn't flush out all the Jews for the hiding. And they knew what it is. In between the days, always they give some, if you want the Jews to be free, the German police said right away, give us 5 pounds of gold and silver. Every time, because they had agreement with Switzerland. You didn't know this. Had agreement with Switzerland. They're going to bring them silver and gold, and they're going to give them money to buy oil, because they needed oil. They were short on oil. Poland didn't have oil. Very little. They needed oil and equipment, everything. Then my mother was sitting for 2 nights in the Dulag. They called it this time Durchgangslager, Dulag. They called it in Sosnowitz. My mother was sitting for 2-3 days and I couldn't stand anymore. So I came myself and I went over there to the Germans and to the Jewish police, and I reported myself and they let out my mom.
And where was your father at this time?
In the house, home.
They didn't bother your father?
No, just the mama.
Why is
they didn't
that?
bother. They bothered. We had no food. You know, everything was rationed.
But he was allowed to stay in the apartment?
They took their mother as hostage, hostage. So this time I went over there in September, was it? Because August they came in September. I went over there, I slept over there one night. After one night I took a group from 400, 500 Jews, and we went in central Poland, Krzepice. Pazimierze was over there, went over there. No, excuse me, before we went to the mountains, Żywiec. From the mountains over there, then we went to Pazimierze. You want to make everything?
Yeah.
Yeah. We went to Żywiec.
What country were you close to?
German.
You were close to Germany?
Yes, Germany. I was on the border, Silesia in Poland. Because Poland had a part of Silesia in a way. But we was on the border, on this border over there. Then they took us over there, we went over there, we worked, but I would say 4 months over there, 4 or 5 months in Żywiec, around Ślemień was a city of there. They brought a lot of Jews from Czechoslovakia, from all over the world they brought to us. And then they created Auschwitz.
What did you have to do over there before they created Auschwitz? What did you have to do when you worked? What did you do?
We was destroying houses, ripping apart houses. People living in the houses, they took him out, they took him away, and we were dismantling the houses. Just plain sabotage, just be dismantling over there, working this. Passed by about 5 or 6 months, they took us from there to Pazimierze, Kielce Gubernia, not far away over there. I was over there for 2.5 years in Pazimierze. We did mostly agriculture work, in every work.
What year was it at this point?
In 1940.
And where were your brothers? Were they still with you?
They took separate, we couldn't go together. They took separate,
when
me,
they
separate
took
my,
you-
they
they
took
took you
my
separate?
brother went right a few days later.
With you?
No,
someplace else.
For some places, this
Which
was Mendel.
brother, Mendel?
Mendel, yeah. And Ayla went with Helen, my sister, Ayla went to Lvov, to Lemberg.
And what about the other 2 brothers?
I have 4 brothers. One was shot.
When was he
shot?
shot?
Right in the beginning from the war, when the war broke out.
He was medical.
In Proshevitz, yes. Had a child too. Had a child.
And
He was shot right.
but he didn't live in your house. He
No.
had his own apartment.
He had an apartment there, and then he went to Proshevitz, where my grandparents lived over there. He thought maybe over there he can hide somehow. But it was unfortunately they shot him right with the first day.
So how far was Proshevitz from Sosnowitz?
I would say 110 kilometers. It's about 75, 80 miles.
So it would take, is that where Idek lived?
Yeah, yes, Idek.
So your grandparents lived close to where Idek lived?
Together, in the
same town.
They got in the same town, in the same house, at several houses.
So that was your grandparents from your mother's side?
Right.
What about your grandparents from your father's side?
There was
Were they
in
alive?
Kielce. No.
And how
none
far
of
was
them.
that?
This was about 110, 80 miles.
In a different direction?
A different direction. This was Kielce. My grandparents used to live in Kielce. My grandfather died before.
Before the war?
Before the war. The grandma too. I had over there uncle, and I don't know what happened to him. They called him Shmila Guten.
You did not together.
He's one of the biggest Ger Hasidim over there, was. But what happened to them, we don't know up to today.
So there wasn't that much family from your father's side, it was mostly from your mother's side.
Absolutely, yes.
So your
Yes.
father didn't have a big family?
They had a big family, but
But
they
you
lived in
weren't
other
close and they
cities.
lived far
No,
away?
far away.
So it was too
Because
hard to get to visit them?
in-
So you were
in-
closer with
to
the family from your
Proshevitz.
mother's
Right,
side?
right. It was impossible. As a matter of fact, we had business also from Proshevitz because we got butter and eggs from there.
I'm talking about like before the war,
Before the
Okay.
oh yeah, I was
Still
visiting.
visit?
Yeah, I was visiting my grandparents from father's side. Sure, I was in Kielce lots of times. Sure, we had the contact, the business contact of them in Kielce.
So what did your father do for a living?
For living, we had the
He
store.
had the store, and did he
Sure.
work in the store? Did he
Absolutely,
study?
he works in the store always. He was selling. He was a beautiful life. What can I tell you? I remember very often coming Jews to talk it over about the Bible, about the Gemara, you know. And they was sitting over there. Come after your shooting kippur. Came a Jewish man. He was from Yenzel, not far away where the uncle should rest and be lived over there. And he was a peddler with eggs and butter, you know, was peddling. They come in, they always was studying the Torah. Customers could stand over there, stay for hours, and he was studying the Torah. He was more like it. He liked the songs, very much the songs. He created a lot of songs for the melody, for the prayers, for our town in Sosnovitz.
So then after, when you got separated, and you worked before Auschwitz, like 2.5 years, you didn't know where anybody else in your family was?
Yes, I know where Mendel is.
You knew where Mendel was?
Where Mendel is, because I had only one brother, because I went with my sister to Lvov.
And the other
And
one was?
Mendel was not far away from me, I would say about 40 kilometers. 40 kilometers far away. I had one day, I went down to the sheriff, from the barracks, and I asked him to give me a permission to go visit my brother, and I took with me 2 packs of cigarettes. And cigarettes in camp was one of the hardest thing to get, because people were starving left and right because they were a habit of smoking cigarettes. They rather give away the pike of bread, means a piece of bread,
Got for a whole day.
for a piece of bread, just to get the cigarettes. So people were starving this time. When I went to the camp, I was smoking too, but I saw it was going on, I stopped it right away. And
So
that's
did
what's it.
Mendel smoke too? So like everybody smoked?
No, Mendel didn't smoke, but he could exchange the
The
cigarettes for bread,
food.
for food.
So what happened to your mother? Do you know what happened to
My
your mother?
mother and my father, they took them together, would say in 1943, about August, they went to Auschwitz, and that's it.
So you were, right before Auschwitz, you worked in this labor camp?
Pazhimiere
And
was
that
a
was like a
good
labor
camp.
camp?
Yeah, was a good camp because of there was an agriculture camp. We had food. We could manage somehow, you know. We hustled, but we could manage. It was good. Then after 2.5 years to 3 years, I think,
So this was like 1942?
1942, 1943, when started the war with Russia. Then they took us to Annaberg, to Germany over there. Over there starts the whole commotion started. We went to Lager before, it was good. From Annaberg I stood over there 2 nights. And Uncle Mendel was in Annaberg, but I couldn't see him. It was impossible to see him because, you know, so many people. From there they took us to Gross Rosen. Gross Rosen was unbelievable what was there. Before when he came, they took us from Pazhimiere. When they took us, we went to the train. They pushed us in the trains. But 250 people in a cattle wagon. You see the wagon thing, right?
Yeah.
They pushed us in. I stood for 2 nights like this. I couldn't move not that way, not that way. Nothing. We were so squashed in. It's unbelievable. Stood here, Ukrainian soldier, and the Ukrainian soldier. If anyone wants to try to escape, they shoot right away. They shot a lot of people this time. You couldn't do anything. So finally, after 2 nights, 3 nights and 3 days, we came into Gross Rosen. Gross Rosen, we came in over there. They put us in lines, five people, and they make us like soldiers walking by. If you just pushed your head out, right away you got hit over the head, you know. Right away, you unconscious, right away. So we went in over there. What can I tell you? The groceries was, first of all, they took us to take off all the clothes. We sat over there in a big room, a huge room. Our reception was a big room over there. Was in the winter time. I never forget this. I never forgot this. They took us out naked. We stood, was around 18 degrees. 18 below. 18 below zero was this. We stood over there, I would say 25 minutes. They put us numbers here, they didn't tatuate us. Just they put us number. After about 20, 25 minutes, we went in back. Went back, they told us right away to go
You
down
mean
to the
they
basement.
hung numbers?
No, they tattooed.
They tattooed it?
No, they just, with
With
a
a
pen,
marker?
with a marker, they just marked us numbers. I remember the last number was 53, the first four I cannot remember. I cannot remember. They took us down there to our basement. What can I tell you? What we got beaten up in this basement before we came down. We had to go to washing, you know, the washroom. Shower hours. We was over there, we came down, then we slept overnight. No, we did not sleep overnight. We came down there, first of all they shaved us all. Shaved us with razor bit and everything. If the razor was going like this, you had to go mid down because it was every temp, you know, up. It was terrible. Then you went for the commission, see if you have no hair. I had 2 hairs, I had to go back again. This was 2. I had to go back again the whole thing, the whole spectacle to make it again. After this, I went through, okay. We came in a big room. After this, took us about 3 hours. They gave us the stripe jacket.
Uniform.
Striped jacket and striped pants, and I had boots. What can I tell you? We had wooden cloths. It's the same like they got in Denmark. Did you see this? A wood. This is terrible. It's unbelievable. If you go on snow, this accumulated snow goes like stones in a hole, you know. In your feet, a lot of people break their feet with this, you know. So they gave us over there. Then they pushed us in a room to sleep. We lay down in a big room. I never forget this. We had to lay down on the side. You couldn't lay down there because too many people, everything was squashed. If I want to turn around, the whole line had to turn around. You understand what I'm talking about?
There was no room.
No, sure, 300 people in a small room? What are you talking about? What can I tell you was torture. Over there, no God is there. No God. After 2 days, we was over there eating, forget it from eating. What they gave us was all right, you understand? They gave us a piece of bread. It was not too bad, they gave us a soup. But if you're lucky, the soup, you had a little thicker soup, then you're all right. But sometimes the anti-Semites give the soup, they give it from the top, just the water. And what they have from water, nothing. They say, one soup got you couldn't sleep a whole night for hunger. It was nights and days was the same thing. From Gross-Rosen, we were staying in Gross-Rosen.
And what did you do? Did you work?
That's why I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you. From Gross-Rosen, we had everything, the showers when we went through. We went, I forgot this, a little village by train. It was about 3/4 an hour it took us. We went over there and we was digging, making not garages, barns to hide over there the ammunition with other things over there.
The Germans
Germans ammunition, yeah. We was working there. I worked in Vetterschule because the uncle had a good job there. He was a tailor.
Uncle Theo?
Yes, so he was
Is
privileged.
that where you met him?
Yes. Oh, no, I met him before. Uncle Hill I knew from Poland, from when I was a kid.
Oh.
Or Uncle Hill, sure. But over there we were together. So we were together, we were working every day, nights they brought us home. In the morning we went over there. One night I never forget. I came home, we worked from dusk to dawn. There's nothing you can see, except this. I mean, during the day you cannot do anything, you have to stay in the work. Bouwplaats. We worked over there. One night I came home, was around 9:30, 10 o'clock. We had an appeal outside. What is the appeal? They made it up specially. 2 people ran away. They didn't say 2 Jews. 2 people ran away. We all got to stay over there. We stood over there from 9:30 till 4 o'clock in the morning. No food, because they were searching for the 2 people. They made up special, you know. So people were, surely people were dying, fainting, you know. That's what they wanted that way. In the morning right away you got to get up and go to work. We got to work, water didn't have too much. We took snow, we washed ourselves with snow as much as possible. And we made the best. I tell this short with the story from Gross Rosen. From Gross Rosen they took us to Hersbruck. Hersbruck is a little town not far away from Nuremberg. Over there was no God.
That's in Germany.
Germany. Nuremberg is Germany. It's in Hersbruck over there we came in. Before we came in there was nothing else. There was beating. Unbelievable the beating what was. Unbelievable. But somehow we had louse. Everything was there but no food. Everything. I came in over there, was look at out the window, was about 800-900 dead bodies laying outside in the front. We saw it. Inside you went, you see a lot of people hanging because they didn't took the order right where the Germans told them.
So the Germans hung them.
Sure, they hang him right away. Was such a torture, yeah, you better go. Was such a torture, it's unbelievable. It's not imaginable. You cannot imagine what's going on. I hate to talk about it, but I have sometimes I want to relate it. Over there we was working about 3 months. Food, we didn't get anything. We had no
Uncle
clothes.
Phil there too?
Huh?
Did Uncle Phil go there?
No.
No.
No, Uncle Hill went out separate. They took him out of the camp. I went myself. This was a division from Mauthausen. Mauthausen,
And
the center
that's
of the
where
camp.
Idek was, right?
Idek was in Mauthausen, I think. I wasn't in Mauthausen. I was the division. This Hersbruck was a division from Mauthausen. I was over there about 6 or 8 months, it was to the end. Suddenly they say us, they're gonna close this camp, we got to go to Dachau. So we was walking to Dachau. It was about 60, 70 kilometers to walking. We were day and night. Police was going around with the dogs. If anybody wants to escape, right away the dog bit him and they shot him right away in the place. It's unbelievable to imagine what we had over there. We came, we walked, but after 20, 30 miles, there was a special commander of the whole group, was about 500-600 people. They're walking, but 10, 12 policemen, they didn't need anymore. But who gonna rebel? We are without food. If they take away the food from you, you cannot rebel. You have no call, you have to do anything. So we came in, we walked over there, was going in the back, was going a special group from 5 people, which they buried the people who was dying on the road. They put them on the side, make a hole, and bury them. This was going constantly. Then created, was 15 people. So many died like flies. I think for the whole group maybe came 25 or 30 people to Dachau. Interesting is, I mentioned here once by them say that in Dachau he came in, was a big sign. You know where Dachau is? Dachau is next to Munich, 8-10 kilometers from Munich. I was there after the war. It's a big sign, Zeh Hashar L'Hashem Tzadikim Yevoi Yevoi. This is the gates where the righteous people coming in. And they had the other sign, Arbeit macht frei. Work makes you free. But we know this what's going on. In Dachau I was only 2 days. Because the army from the American army, the French troops, everybody was coming to enclose them. Soon I walked out from Dachau, I'm giving short everything. I'm giving just frequently because I'm not in the mood really, but I have to tell the story. From there we went out from Dachau, we start walking to a little town. Little town was night, this was May the 1st.
1945.
1945,
So
May
you
the 1st.
already liberated.
No,
No,
not
not
yet.
yet.
We went to a little town over there, and they put us in a wilderness over there. They surrounded us. Snow was coming in a wet
In May?
rain. In May, 1st and 2nd of May. I remember like now. I was old swollen already because whoever fills the feet, we know right away they must die because this comes from the heart. Food, we didn't get it, didn't have any food. When we had the food, we stole the food, so to say, from pig eating or something, we stole the potatoes. Anything we could there, we ate. We ate even dogs or cat meat. Doesn't matter what, just to stay alive. Make the story, yeah. Then we walked, we was inside in the wilderness in a vault.
Forest.
A forest. Was in the forest over there. I had a blanket with me. Suddenly in the morning, around 6:30, 7 o'clock, we see no soldiers anymore. the American troop was surrounding us, and they said, told us right away, you are liberated. So we had at this time at the liberation, what can I tell you? A lot of people after the liberation died more than before, because they stopped grabbing the food. Right away had diarrhea, and you had diarrhea, you finished. It was typhus, a lot of typhus this time. But I was fortunate enough, I didn't grab so much food. When I was liberated, I had 2 potatoes, baked potatoes. Not big, but 2 raw potatoes. And I was a rich man, 2 potatoes. I was a rich man over there, I have it. And then we started to struggle. Then we came out from there, and I was over there 2 days or 3 days. Then I went from there, from Bertholz, next to Bertholz was this. I was there after the war in Bertholz when I was in Germany. I mean, he was with us, but you cannot remember, he was a child this time. So, afterwards, so much to tell. It's unbelievable. The more you talk, the more you... It's a lot of things. Yeah, I slept over there in Reichersbahn. I slept over a few nights. Then I see it's not for me. I'm living to sleep, to stay here. So I went right into Munich. Munich, I didn't have nothing with me. I went to Munich over there. I found over there some friend from my hometown. So I rented me a little apartment. Money I didn't have it, but it was a little black market in Munich. And I started dealing over there. So I started making, that way we started. I started right away to work out. I worked it out. I lived in Munich for 5.5 years. I found my brother in the second year, 47.
It took that long to find him?
A year and a half, yeah, because he came also to Munich.
Which brother was this?
Mendel. Then I found...
Did you know what happened to your parents?
No.
You didn't know at that point?
What happened was someday I had a dream, and I'm sure this was the day, the 24th of August, they got killed, they got gassed. I'm sure. Because this day,
You
I had
know
a
for
dream.
sure they went to Auschwitz?
Absolutely. Because they took it out, all the people they were living not in Sosnovitz, just a village outside Sosnovitz, a little town. Was Pogonia, they called over there. They took everybody together because this was the ghetto already. So took everybody and they sent them to Auschwitz. You couldn't do anything. Next, what question you got?
Did you go back to Poland at all,
No.
right after the war?
No.
You never went back?
No.
To see if anybody else was there?
My brother went there. Eile was there, Mendel went there, not me.
After the war?
After the war.
Looking for your family?
Yeah, looking for family, everything. We have buildings there too. We have buildings also there we left. I sold something and they divided with Edek. That's okay. Next question.
So Isla was in Russia, so he was not in any concentration camp.
No, but he had bad. He had bad too.
What happened?
The Russian put him in jail as a spy. They didn't know what to do. Anti-Semitic was very big in Russia. They put him as a spy. In order to get out of jail, he drank soap water, so kills the stomach, makes a bacteria inside, so to get out from jail. This helped him. You know, that's what he suffers now.
So, when did you find Idek and Moshe Rosenberg and...
Moshe Rosenberg was in Israel. He was not in Germany, Moshe Rosenberg.
At all?
At all. Idek I found.
But I thought Moshe was in a concentration camp too.
Moshe wasn't there? Oh yeah, Moshe Rosenberg, yeah. Yeah, Moshe Rosenberg I found here in Israel. Moshe Rosenberg.
You found him in Israel?
He was a concentration camp, Moshe Rosenberg, yes. And Idek I found in München. I don't remember exactly, I think it's around München. But I found him. Then I looking always for all this. I found my brother through somebody told me, so he saw my brother when in Poland he's coming. So I found my brother in München, and I found Josef Rosenthal also in München with Feigelen.
They got married already?
Yes,
they got married before the war ended?
No, after the war.
After the
They
war.
got married after the war. Rabbi Nezrovsky gave me also the marriage license.
The same rabbi that married you?
Yeah. He gave me also marriage license. I lived in München. I lived in a nice neighborhood. A very nice neighborhood. I had a nice apartment, one room with a kitchen.
So I thought that if you were like 23 or 24, I thought you usually would get married by that time. Was that not so?
Not everybody, it's depend, you know. I couldn't find what I wanted, so I did it.
You didn't have an arranged marriage
No,
when you were growing up?
no.
So, did it come after that?
Yeah.
What do you mean by arranged marriage?
Okay. So, Mandel is 2 years younger than you, right?
No.
No?
Island is two and three quarters younger than me, and Mendel is younger than Island 2 3/4 years.
Oh. So Mandel's like 5 years younger than you.
Right.
Okay. Were you the oldest?
No, no. The older got shot in Prushevitz.
Oh, he was the one who was married as a child.
Right.
And his
Couple.
wife and child got shot too?
I don't know.
You don't know
where
what happened
I
to
don't
them?
know what happened to them.
Oh, okay. So you had a couple couples in your family.
Yes, yes. When the war broke out, first we had the one couple,
Uh-huh.
then we have a couple couples.
So it was couple was your oldest, and then
Right.
you,
Then me, then
And
Isla, then Helen,
and then
And
Mendel.
then Mendel.
He was a baby.
right.
Okay. And Jacek
Also
lived near Idek in the same
Yes,
city as Idek?
same ground.
And
They
where
have
did
a house.
Feigl live?
Feigl was the daughter who was a sister to Edek.
Oh, so that's right. she
Sister
was in
Edek,
it,
right.
okay. And your grandparents lived over
In
there.
Prushevitz, yeah.
And your mother, you moved to Sosnovitz, or your mother moved to Sosnovitz because she married your father, and that's where he lived. Is that how it was?
How they married, Edek, matter of fact, Edek just asked me this question, and I couldn't answer him. I don't know how they come to Sosnovitz. They got married in Prushevitz, where I presume, my Zayda, my grandfather, he told them to go to Sosnovitz over there, they're going to make a good living. Somehow, that's what I think.
So
Because he
did
asked
you
me, I
have-
couldn't answer him.